a very simplistic flat level organization structure. We have our portfolios. Portfolios are supported by program and project managers. And then the other arm, which is the quality and governance arm, which basically is taking care of all of the pure PMO activities. So there's not a lot of hierarchy within the organization, even though we are around 150 people strong. Right? Those 150 people roll up into a certain set of portfolios or business segments supported by project and program managers. Let's talk about what are some of the real essentials of doing a PMO. Right? All of us are given a choice at some point of time what kind of a PMO should we establish, whether it is a directive PMO, whether it is a supportive PMO, or whether it's a controlling PMO. In order to drive efficiencies, especially in this kind of a framework where your magnitude is much larger than you anticipate, at least we realize that having a directive PMO, which is centralized, makes a lot more sense. And the reason it makes sense is we can drive consistency around delivery across the organization. Right? If you have a supportive PMO, sometimes it's harder to control how each of the different segments or portfolios of business units and the supporting project and program managers are running their specific projects and programs. So from that vantage point, it was important for us to drive into more of a directive kind of a PMO. Right? The second part is adopting, right, and detailing the methodology. Now, we had a choice, and in this case, we have our partners, and one of my partners sitting over here also around me from PwC. They've helped us build a methodology. Right? We started off with the lean methodology. We've built on top of that, and right now, we have a methodology which is very robust. It's built on a waterfall methodology framework. But as far as the adoption goes, it took us some time, real time, to go ahead and get it nailed down. So our first version of the methodology was good. It helped us at least stand up on our feet. And our second level of methodology has now helped us transform and make sure that we can now really start understanding the synergies between the different kinds of projects we run in different portfolios. And I'll give you examples. Okay. So if we are running, let's say, an economic development program, as a part of economic development, what we are trying to do is we are trying to uplift the capabilities of education within that environment. As we are building the education sector, what do I need for that education sector? Well, I need somebody to come and plan and operate that education sector. I need some level of infrastructure. For that infrastructure, I need all of my primary infrastructure services, whether it is water, whether it is waste, whether it is electrical, right? Whether it's a physical asset. Where does it really rely from a master planning standpoint so that it can really scale up and provide the services? So when you talk about the synergies across different segments of the organization, now it has become equally important for us. And this is just one project. There are hundreds of projects like this. So it's become equally important for us to ensure that we can really understand and define the synergies, and the methodology helps us do that, whether we are trying to understand the dependencies, whether we are trying to define what our next set of deliverables are, and how do we really realize those business outcomes. Again, the processes are lean, and we continuously evolve those processes. So do we have workflows? Yes, we have workflows. Do we have plenty of approval mechanisms in the pipeline? Yes, we do. But again, we have tried to create our processes in such a way that they are not inhibitors. They're, again, lean processes. Right? We are nimble, we can act on our feet, and we can drive it forward. This is another topic. I think the fourth part is equally important, which is around governance. And I was attending the session with Ross. I think he was one of the sessions. And he spoke about governance and the 10 different questions and what is really important. But the crux of everything is, how do you simplify governance? Right? We can define a governance in a way where it says, okay, you've got a project, right? You've got a project board, you've got a project sponsor, you've got program board, you've got a program sponsor, you've got the executive management team, right? You've got different technical and business committees, you've got your board of directors. But how do you simplify it in a sense? So the way we are trying to simplify it, and we'll figure out, as you see in the next slide, is how do you simplify and keep in basically 2 or 3 different levels so that your decision-making and your reporting becomes a lot easier.